The death of former President Muhammadu Buhari brought mixed emotions and long-buried frustrations for many young Nigerians who lived their formative years under his rule. They responded with complex emotions. To this generation, Buhari's presidency symbolized economic hardship, disappointment, and survival. It was under his watch that the word Sapa, describing extreme financial struggle, became mainstream. Prices skyrocketed, the naira collapsed, and jobs vanished. Even graduates and skilled workers couldn't stay afloat. Sapa no longer meant being broke, it meant being stuck in a system that offered no lifeline. Worse still, the hopelessness triggered the Japa movement, a mass emigration of young professionals, students, creatives, fleeing in insecurity, bad governance, and despair. Buhari didn't just fail to stop the brain drain, his policies pushed it. It was also during Buhari's administration that Nigerians popularized the ominous phrase, "May Nigeria not happen to you." It captured how every life could turn tragic, how police brutality, failed healthcare, collapsed infrastructure, or insecurity could ruin lives, even if you played by the rules. Young people called Nigeria a zoo due to disillusionment with dysfunction, impunity, and hopelessness. The news of his passing made social media light up, not out of cruelty, but with the voices of a generation that endured his era. Behind trending hashtags and memes were real stories of dreams delayed, futures stolen, and trauma unhealed. Despite the grandeur of state burial and official tributes from political elites and allies, Buhari's funeral lacked true honor in the eyes of many Nigerians, especially the youth who bore the brunt of his administration's failure. While dignitaries gathered in Daura under a full military ceremony, there was no genuine public mourning, only muted indifference, bitter jokes, and online sarcasm. The funeral may have had protocol, but it lacked the one thing that gives death meaning: the respect of the people. Let Buhari's legacy be a warning. Power is temporary, but memory is eternal. Therefore, let's lead with empathy, justice, and courage. Because if you fail the youths, they will not mourn you, they will narrate you.
Why did people vote Buhari into power? He was not a debutant. He was a president before, he was a head of state. Is it that they remembered the great works he did and decided to vote him? Was it opposition frenzy? Was it threats by opposition to run a parallel government? Was it threats of bloodletting? They were Nigerians that voted him, because that was one of the elections that had minimal interference by the commander-in-chief as at that time. Now when Nigerians, if we had all the memories, as you say, perhaps, I don't know, I'm only asking.
It is quite unfortunate that Buhari came in at the peak of social media usage in Nigeria, and he rode in on the horse of being a security expert. But it is that insecurity that constitutes a huge part of what marred his administration. He oversaw two economic depression, recession within 5 years. You know, Naira lost 70% of its value during his administration. But in all of this, as much as I did an advocacy earlier, I would think about 2 or 3 weeks ago, on Buhari, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah.
As much as his tenure had its peculiar issues that kind of like took everybody back donkey years behind, I disagree that his funeral lacked the respect of the people. Because the question is, which people? Did you see how the people of Daura were in money? The people who were upset are the people on the internet. The states, they declared 1 week mourning in the north. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's always important for us to have perspectives. The way, let me just end that, may his soul rest in peace.
I will first say, may his soul rest in peace. Having said that, as a president, as a leader, you can't get it right all the time. I am particularly traumatized by the policy, the naira change policy. And I keep saying that when I heard the passing of President Buhari, the first thing I went, oh my gosh, like, oh wow. And then it triggered that trauma. And I was really traumatized at that time. And nobody can minimize that trauma. Every Nigerian will be affected or influenced in one way or the other by the presidency of anybody. So if you say, was Buhari a bad boy? Those living with disability will always remember him as the man who okays the Disability Commission, They will never forget him for that. So there's always the good, the bad, and the ugly to everything. So we just look at the fact that, well, is it that we're not infallible or we're infallible? Which one now?
You're not infallible.
Infallible, we're human and we have flaws. I was truly, truly traumatized by that. And it took me time within that 1 week of mourning that you said for me to deal with it. So you have Nigerian youths who felt that they were betrayed by the president at that time. Look at the NSAS, look at quite a number of things that President Buhari didn't quite get right. I think he yielded at some point to some cabal, these forces, and they marred his presidency in that wise. But he did some good things.
Speaking from what everyone has said, really, the first one is how he came into power. He came into power because politics was politics,
Mr. Integrity,
and PR was done.
Yes.
There is an, what's it called now, a documentary on Netflix on a certain PR firm that has now been sanctioned, that what their job is to ensure that whether you are the worst of the worst or you are the corrupt
image
of the
laundering,
corrupt,
they make you look good.
Get into power. And Nigeria was listed there. Sorry?
Poor education.
Poor education. So yes, I agree. Let's take responsibility. We voted him. I mean, I did not vote Sha, but we voted him, right? And it is based on what people took in. The politics, the party, they understood the game and they played the game. And people refuse to go back to history to really know who Buhari is or how his leadership works. And they voted him in. So that's how he came to power. It's not that, he's the best
war
thing
against
after
indiscipline.
Pride. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So that is, just to answer that question, how did he come to power? That is how he came to power. Secondly, like you said, he was mourned in Daura, his people. See, even if, again, let's be clear, I'm not saying he's a thief, but when a thief is dead, his immediate family will still mourn.
Mourn, yeah.
When you get to a certain pinnacle of your life, you're no longer just for your family. He's a nationwide figure, right? I don't want to use the word global, but he is a nationwide figure.
He is a global figure, yeah.
That mourning cannot be expected to be limited to Daura or the North. And if you say, people were mourning, my darling, of course, I'm on radio. We get the pulse of the people. I talk to people every day. People on social media are still the people of social media. They are not two different peoples, right? So what I would say is, like you said, nobody is that big English, infallible, right? Yes. You're human. There are policies that you would put in that would be awesome to some people, and for some people, you don't think I'm well. However, I think that this generation have got a lot that happened in his administration that is very traumatic, like she has said.
People who became adults
cannot
recently.
forget them quickly, which was what I was talking about in terms of, yes, the older generation can remember what Obafemi Awolowo has done, but how are we sustaining that history in the current generation? Are they still being taught those things in the school? So it still takes me back to him as a person. Like I said, may his soul rest in peace. He has run his race. We are here discussing it, right? But it should serve as a lesson, like Matt has said, for everyone. Like, we need to think about what the real impact is. You are there, the position is there, you're making money, you're getting the respect. In fact, you are dragging legacy now and apportioning it to yourself. But beyond all this, how are you impacting people's life? I don't even want to get to NSAS and all that, but for me, he lived his life. May he rest in peace.
This is not a conversation about Buhari in the real sense of it.
Yeah.
It is a conversation about those who aspire and who are in politics and who are in public places. It is a conversation about what would people say when you are gone. how would people immortalize you? That is where true legacy and immortalization resides, in the hearts of people. And this generation does not forget. Now I live in Abuja, and Wike has helped. I don't like him, let's be clear. But Wike has helped minimize the fuel consumption of my car. If I'm going to Zone 1, I don't need to go round and round and round. He has connected bridges in Abuja.
So now you're a Wike
I'm
stand.
still not.
He says he doesn't like him.
You don't like him, but you're still
I'm acknowledging the fact that I don't like his politics doesn't mean I should not be honest. We reap what we sow. Unfortunately, where leadership is concerned, many reap what a few sow, often exponentially. Let's peak out to stop the rot before it becomes our legacy. Join us next week, same time, same channel. Till then, it's goodbye from us.
Bye-bye.